Hi, I'm Cheryl. Welcome to my channel, Home Rich Studio. Today's video is going to be about thrifting. I love thrift shopping. I love shopping in general, but I do really like to thrift, and I do like to find things pretty much for my home. I don't have a boutique or anything, so I'm very picky with what I get, but I also like to purchase things that are very inexpensive. I do not like to pay a lot of money unless it's that perfect piece that makes my area and my house pop. But I'll show you a couple things that I picked up. I have this piece here. It's tethered, but I look at it not for what it is. I look at it for maybe the quality. Like, this is a really nice wood piece, and this was 99 cents. I could probably clean this up, put in some new moss, paint it up. Not sure what I'm going to do with this. I have a few ideas, but keep on watching and we'll find out. I also have this piece from the Goodwill. It was $2.99. It's just a metal tray, and it has some green, I don't know, handles, and they are screwed in, so that's good because I can remove them and paint this up, and I already have an idea for this. But a story behind these pieces. I was just on vacation with my family, and we were in South Carolina, and we went to a Goodwill store down there, and it was pretty messy. It was pretty dirty, and we really had to pick through the stuff, but here's some stuff that I found. Okay, so this is the Goodwill in Hilton Head, and I was going to make a TikTok video. That's why it's so narrow. I didn't film it the right way, but as you can see, it's small. It is kind of dirty, but we got some really good stuff. Here's one piece I got, and again, I apologize for this video being so narrow. I should have turned my camera around. So that was only a few bucks, and here's my platter. And I also have those stencils. Those were 99 cents, and I ended up not doing that, but I was going to do the coasters. That'll be in another video. We got some clothes and a whole bunch of other good pieces that I found. Another piece for 99 cents, and I know Goodwill is usually a little bit more expensive, but this one wasn't. And we went to Hilton Head, so that's the Goodwill that we went to, and I thought, oh boy, these are going to be really pricey things, but they're not. I get this. It's a coaster basket. It's missing, I think, one of the coasters, but looks like they added this in. So we have the three pieces, and then this. It's in good condition, the basket is. I'll just throw some disinfectant on it, but the top has shells that are missing. But I'm really excited to see what I can do with this. And like I said, 99 cents. This was $2.99. This was 99 cents, but I think I got this at home at St. Vincent de Paul. I live in Michigan. And then I believe this was $1.99, but I got it for $1. And this was St. Paul, at Vincent St. Paul in Michigan. And it's just a little, I love to buy these wood pieces because you can do so much with these. Anyway, come along. Let's go see what we can do with other people's junk. So here's the first piece, and this is that platter. And before I go into showing you how to make it, this is the Sonnet's Garden Blooms box. I get this once a month. I will leave the link in the description box below if you want to check it out. It's a little pricey, but I like it because I learn from it. It's just packed with a bunch of little goodies, and here's the card that you get. This is actually the June box. I have the July box, but I was kind of on vacation, so I haven't got to the July box yet, but here's what I got in the June box. So it's all wrapped up really nice and pretty, and has a little sticker. It says thank you, and Sonnet always leaves a napkin, a beautiful napkin, and I do use this on one of my pieces today. And then we get two pieces from the Painted Photographer rice paper. This is one, and it is called Be Kind. And the second piece of rice paper is called Willow Blues. And I did use that on the tray. And I've used this on a my third piece. Yeah, my third piece. And so you get 2 Roycycle decoupage papers. And this decoupage paper is called Botanical Amphira. I think I said that right. Amphira. I don't know. Anyway, I'll put the name up here on the video here. But this is absolutely stunning, and you can see how big it is, and you can use this a million times. I mean, I only cut a little piece out. And then this piece here is also the Roycycle decoupage paper. It's called Crockery Masterboard. I didn't want to take it out because I wanted to keep it in that protective coating, but it's just as big as the other one. So you also get Sweet Pickins milk paint, and that is the color Navy Blues. You get 2 Fusion mineral paint samples, Tuscan Orange and Midnight Blue. That's for this month. Every month it changes out. And then you also get 2 DIY paints, and these are Blue Iris and Liquid Sunshine. And so she coordinates the paint colors with the rice paper and the decoupage paper and the napkin. So I'm showing you how this all coordinates. So if you wanted to use that napkin, you can paint below orange and put the napkin on top, and it would go really well. And see how that just makes it pop. But I have a tendency to use more neutral colors. Okay, so here we are back with the platter there, and it's pretty scratched up, and it's got these ugly green handles on it. So I'm going to use this rice paper here, and I'm going to use this paint to paint the handles, and some sandstone Waverly chalk paint to paint the platter. And then I have the burnt umber, and I have some DIY liquid patina. It's just like Mod Podge, only it's a lot nicer, especially when you're using more expensive pieces. So here I am just removing those handles on both sides, and then I'm just going to clean it up really well. And I have the sandstone. That's my garbage can that I use. I have a plastic Tupperware container. It's old, and I use that as my garbage can, so I don't have to keep turning around and walking to the garbage can to throw things out. But anyway, I painted 3 coats of this on here. And when you do something like this, especially if you're painting on metal, you know it can scratch off really easy. So make sure that it dries in between each coat, and don't glop it on. Like I glopped mine on a little bit too thick. So I'm showing you that was 1 coat. This is 2 coats. So I did have to put 3 coats on that. And now I'm going to paint the handles, and they were green, and then I painted them with that yellow, and I just did not like the way it looked. It did not match to me at all. Probably also because I painted the platter with the sandstone. So I took the sandstone and I mixed it in with the yellow. And I did finally get the color that I liked, and it goes beautifully. So now that I'm done painting those handles, and I think I put 3 coats on those as well, I just take the liquid patina. Again, it's like a Mod Podge, and it's a protectant, and so I'm just painting all of the handle, the entire handle, so it doesn't scratch off. And so now I have the rice paper, and I put it in the middle here, and I have a water pen. You can use a paintbrush. Matter of fact, I think sometimes a paintbrush works better than the water pen. And I'm just tracing it around because I don't want any straight edges. Rice paper is harder to rip, and sometimes I think you don't really even need a water pen with rice paper. It just helps you not make as many errors, I think. but if you're very careful, you probably don't need a water pen. And I just traced around what part of the piece I was going to use. And so now I have the liquid patina, and I'm making a starter strip right here on top. And I'm not putting a lot on, but I'm not putting, you know, a small amount on. Just a good average medium coat. Not too thick, not too light. So I put it underneath, and then I put it on top. And now I pull that up, and I put some more, like another strip underneath. And then I fold it down, and then I'm working down, put more on top. And I did that all the way down to the bottom, and making sure that I get the sides really good. And then after that was done, then I took the liquid patina and I put a coat on top of the whole thing so it doesn't scratch off. And this is how it turned out, and you guys, I love it. I wasn't sure. I just thought, I don't know. And then after I saw it complete, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. So I hope that you guys like it too. And so today's video is part of a collaboration. It is called Thrifted Thursday, and it takes place once a month, usually the third Thursday. And I would like to thank my sweet friends and very talented host, Joanna from Joanna's DIY Life, and Sabrina, also known as the Hot Mess Express from Sabrina's Craft Nanigans. The links for their channels are posted in my description box below, so you can go check them out. And the playlist is also in the description box with all of today's participants for tons of ideas and inspiration. Okay, now here's number 2. This is that 99-cent tattered piece. As you can see, it's in pretty bad shape, but I liked it for the wood piece, the wood container. And here's the napkin from Sonnet's box, and plaster chalk paint. So I'm just removing everything, and I'm going to give it a good cleaning. And then it's a little rough around the edges, so I kind of had to sand it down a little bit. And a big shout out and thank you to all of my beautiful and amazing subscribers. I appreciate your support, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if you're not yet subscribed, come join my Home Rich Studio family. It's easy and it's totally free. You just touch the subscribe button and tap the all in the notification area, and you won't miss a thing. You'll get notified every time I post a video. And if you like budget-friendly crafts, decorating, thrift flips, seasonal decor, and so much more, go ahead and subscribe, and I thank you so much. So now I just put a coat of the plaster, just one coat around here, because we're going to put the napkin on top of it. And I didn't want to see through the napkin. And the napkin was 2 ply, so I did pull one of the plies off that. And now, because this is the shape of an octagon, or what's a hexagon? Maybe it's a hexagon. Anyway, I'm just going to kind of piece it together. And I only have one napkin, so I got to be really careful that I don't make any errors. This napkin is just gorgeous. I love it. And if you know me and you've seen my other videos, I love birds. We have a lot of birds in our backyard. We have a couple bird feeders, and yeah. So as you can see, I'm just taking little pieces for each side. I want to make sure that I have some birds on there and a butterfly, and I even took one bird and kind of put it on the edge and then kind of pieced it together. And because this napkin is kind of a cream color, and so is the plaster chalk paint, it matches perfectly, and you really can't see that it's pieced together. I mean, I literally could have pieced little butterflies and flowers and birds everywhere and cut them all out individually, and you still wouldn't be able to see this. So I'm just doing the same technique where I put Mod Podge on the bottom and then I put the piece down and then Mod Podge it on top. And actually it's not Mod Podge, it's the same thing. It's just liquid patina, which is just a lot. It's a little bit thinner. It's a little more expensive, but I think it works really, really well, especially when you have the, more expensive napkins or decoupage paper. And yeah, here's how it turned out. You guys, I just love how this turned out. Okay, so now I have the burnt umber, yeah. And this is apple barrel acrylic paint, and I am out of antique Waverly wax, so I'm just making a stain with the burnt umber. I just put a little bit in a container and I watered it down really thin and then wiped it off on the napkin, as you can see, and I'm just going around and with the paint, the whole piece. And this also hides any imperfections that are on the napkin. Then I wanted this to be really kind of rustic and worn and weathered looking, so I took a heavy sandpaper and I sanded around all the edges. And then now I have some jute, and I'm just putting one row of jute around the top and then around the bottom as well, just to give it that finished look. And now I have a lighter and I'm just going to burn off all those little fuzzies, and it also takes care of the little glue webs. And I have my wire cutters. I have this pick. I've used it a couple times, and it's either from Michaels or Hobby Lobby. I like these kind of picks. They're good filler picks, or if you don't want flowers, it just makes a good greenery piece. So I clipped all those off, and then I have a bunch of you can see this foam, these little pieces of foam. I keep those too, and but it works perfectly to fill in little pieces like I just did here. And so this is all I have left of this pick, and I always cut them off longer because, obviously if you need to, you can make them shorter. As in this situation, I needed to make them shorter, and I'm just placing them around this whole entire wood piece, and I put a larger or a taller one in the middle and then the shorter ones around the side. So you put one down and then you go right across and put another one down, and then side to side, one on one side, one directly on the opposite side, and like I said, with the taller ones in the middle and then the shorter ones on the side. And this is all I had, like I said, of this pick, but it was perfect. I really didn't need any more. And now, you can see that old green yucky moss on the bottom. And so I just took some Spanish moss and puts a little bit of glue in there and pops them in the little holes. And like you guys, I love this. look at how good this turned out. Like I am so happy with this piece. And so yeah, I just, like I said, I love thrifting, and it's just my passion. I haven't been to the thrift store since my vacation, and I'm just itching to go. So anyway, here's number 3. And this piece was $1.99, and I did get it from St. Vincent de Paul's. And I pick up a lot of these wood pieces. Like I said earlier, you can do a ton of things with them. And I have this decoupage paper from Roycycle, and I just have a bunch of like picks, flowers, these little pieces. I have this bird, this hummingbird. I did not use that. I didn't need to use it. And I have some of this ribbon from the Dollar Tree. And I have these butterfly stickers from the Dollar Tree. I didn't use these wood pieces, but at first I just pulled out a whole bunch of things, strings and ribbon and jute and wood pieces and buttons. I never know what I'm going to use. I just kind of have fun with it after I do the initial painting. So I have the sandstone chalk paint, And I'm going to give this piece two coats on top. And then on the sides, I give it 3 coats because we don't want to see through it. So again, I don't want to see through the decoupage paper, so I had to put 2 coats on the top here. But on the sides, I'm not putting any paper on it, and so I had to put 3 coats. I hope that makes sense. And then just make sure that it dries between each coat so you don't pull the paint back off. If it's still wet, it'll still pull the paint back off. But in between each coat, I usually take my blow dryer to it. And then I was lazy, so I didn't take off the hinges because I just didn't feel like it. So I just painted around it with an angle brush and a little teeny brush, and then tried to, when I got paint on the hinges, I just kind of tried to remove it as quickly as possible, and then had my little utility knife that took the rest of the paint off of it. And so now this is all completely dry, and then I put a coat of Mod Podge on top of that. So some things I use liquid patina on, other things I use Mod Podge on. Mod Podge is a lot cheaper, but it's a lot thicker. But here, because I'm ironing on, I use the Mod Podge. And so I have the parchment paper, or I set my napkin down, my decoupage paper down on that when it was completely dry, when the Mod Podge was completely dry. You set your napkin down, and then you take the parchment paper and put the parchment paper on top of it, and that will protect your heat press or your iron. If you can use an iron. If you don't have one of these, just don't use steam, and put it on a low setting. So I'm just doing the same thing to the other side. I cut out a bird, and I just had to make it even so it hit the side with the hinge on it perfectly. And now I have the sandpaper, and I like that thicker, rough sandpaper because I want the edges to be very worn looking. But I'm showing you here, you can also use a nail file if you don't want it worn, and I'll show you close up what it looks like. But I think it just really finishes it and makes it look a little bit more, I don't know, rustic, I guess. And then if you need to get between the hinges, that's where you can use the nail file. Or if you're not lazy, like I am lazy, you can take the hinges off and make life a whole lot easier for yourself. But anyway, that's what I did. And I'm just taking a piece of this ribbon. I didn't do anything fancy with it. I just took some jute and I tied it right in the middle, and I clipped off a little bit of the jute, but I left the jute hanging out because I just want this to be kind of messy. Just kind of build it up and just throw a bunch of stuff on it. And, I just pull, a whole bunch of stuff out of my stash, just things that you can embellish with, and I just throw them in a pile on my counter here, and I just pick from that, and that's kind of what I do. So I have some pieces here, some greenery, and there's a little blue, I don't know what they are, kind of like flowers that came off of a pick. They're like a really light blue, and I thought that would match the bird. And, that's what I do. I just pull out from the colors that are in the paper or the paint or, the picture that I'm using. And see, I'll use the butterfly here too, and the butterfly actually matches the little flowers in there. So these stickers are, again, I got them from the Dollar Tree, and there's 2 pieces. I just pulled the top piece off, and I bent the wings to make it look like it was flying, and then just hot glued that right on the middle. And yeah, and this is what it looks like, and I think this turned out really well too. And let me know which one is your favorite piece, because I don't know, I like them all. They're all just so different Probably the platter, but I don't know. I'm pretty happy the way that all of these turned out. And anyway, I thank you for spending time with me today, and I hope you enjoyed my video. And if you did, please tap the thumbs up button. This really helps my channel, and I appreciate all of your shares and your comments, and I do love to hear from you. Remember to subscribe, check out the playlists and the host channels, and like I always say, I'll be back real soon, and until then, you have a blessed week. Bye.